somebody get the door for us back there? Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with Princeton. We have head coach Berube, and we're joined by Abby Myers and Caitlin Chen. A reminder on the format here: we will start with an opening statement from coach, then we'll take questions for the student athletes, then we'll dismiss the student athletes and come back to coach. And so we will take an opening statement.
Okay. So happy to be making this opening statement that we, came out with a hard-fought win. So much credit to Kentucky. They were tough. It was a battle from start to finish. They certainly rattled us for a bit in the first half, in the first quarter. But I think we got our footing and made some plays on both ends of the floor. The team defense was good, was great. It's hard stopping Howard and Edwards and all of their incredibly gifted players and athletes, but we stayed the course and made the plays we needed to, throughout and definitely down the stretch, and made some hit some big free throws to seal it. We finally came up with some big rebounds too. That is such a great offensive rebounding team, and it took all 5 of us to get in there and rebound the basketball. So just thrilled to get this victory for us, for Princeton, for the Ivy League. The mid-majors are doing great, and I love it. So, but just want to say thank you to Kentucky for a well-fought game.
We're going to open up to questions here. We'll bring the mics around. Please state your name and your media outlet. If you're following along with us on Zoom and you have a question, please indicate you have a question by the raise hand feature. We'll take questions in the room first, and then we'll go to Zoom. So we'll start with down here in the front. Can we bring a microphone? And this is questions for student athletes.
Cameron Drummond with the Lexington Herald Leader. Abby, for yourself, just when you're in that zone and making shots like that, how much license do you have to, I guess, just kind of, freelance and find your shot versus running, whatever offense or play coach is calling for?
Well, if you look at the first half, I was definitely chucking up some crazy ones, and at that point I had less of a green light. But, I think we always pride ourselves on being really patient and just having our composure on the offensive end. And we have, 1 through 5, we have so many weapons. We could do so many things one-on-one, but like our offense and our team, our principles is let's work together, us 5. And I think we did, that down the stretch. And of course, like Caitlin, myself, and some other players, Grace Stone, had some really big, just clutch one-on-one moves and plays near the end. But yeah, that's also just like, Coach trusts me, I trust her, and I'm really happy to have somewhat of a green light to be able to do a little bit what I want. But at the end of the day, glad we got the dub, and I know we have our sights set on Indiana, so that should be exciting.
We can go to Matt in the front here.
Matt Cohen, Indy Star. Abby, I guess after not having a season at all last year, I guess you guys have had a lot of time to get ready for playing in March Madness, and to now have an upset like this. I guess what's the feeling sitting here in these moments afterward?
I feel like we just kind of like proved ourselves in the Ivy League. I think, credit to like the coaching staff throughout the whole conference, but they're just working their butts off and getting really good players like Caitlin Chen, just like top 100 players on ESPN. So just it's a growing conference, and it's just good to prove that the Ivy League, we can handle ourselves and we can really compete at a really, really high level and on a great stage. And I know like for Kentucky, this is kind of a home game for them. It's only 3 hours away. It just feels really good. All that hard work is paying off.
We're going to go in the back next.
Steve Bittenbender, Associated Press. Abby and Caitlin, if you can put this into perspective, especially considering what has happened within the last 2 seasons and not being able to play last year, getting the chance this year, and just kind of what that meant, especially in those final seconds as you realized you were going to win.
It's honestly just been so much fun playing with this team, and that's what we talk about. We always play to have fun because we enjoy playing with each other, and we're proud of each other's success. So that's what makes this team so special, and I think that's the best part of it.
Let's go sorry.
I mean, just a quick thing is we all, grow up dreaming about playing on this stage in Division I basketball in the NCAA tournament, and for us to, finally be here after a year and a half, 2 years, and for some it was their first time. It's just, a special moment to have, our families come out and then they'll be able to watch another game. So, yeah, it's just special.
Now we'll go to the front row.
Sean Grove with WHJ. For either of you guys, you took, by my count, 4 or 5 charges on the defensive side tonight. How much do you guys harp on that defensive hustle and energy as a team?
Just got to get to the help, get there as fast as you can, and at the end of the day, we're not going to win them in jumping contests. So if we can kind of beat them on the that end, taking charges on the stuff that's not as noticed, it's a huge momentum changer, and I think we did that tonight.
Any other questions in the room for the student athletes? We'll go. Can we take the mics? We'll take far right. Yep, right there.
Thanks. Yeah, it's for Caitlin. So obviously a lot of that was played in transition, and you, as anybody else, knows that it's kind of hard to decide whether you're going to take it all the way through or if you're going to pull it back out and reset. How do you kind of approach that decision when you're playing a Kentucky team that really wants to push the pace and go fast? How did you approach that?
I felt like I was just sort of reading the court, surveying, seeing what they were giving me. And I mean, those are really fast, talented players, so at times it was a little difficult, but also just knowing that like my coaches and my teammates will back me on any decision that I make, and I know that like they'll be there for me if I ever get in trouble. So just knowing that they have my back, yeah.
Bill Alden with the Town Topics. Abby, just talk about the defensive effort. It seemed like you guys really frustrated Howard. Just talk about that.
Well, I think we have to call out Julia Cunningham because that was her matchup for the night. And, yeah, she's a great player, right? She's going to be a top 5 draft pick. And we knew coming in that she was going to make a shot or was going to make a lot of shots. And we just had to figure out how to deal with that and then just bring it back on the offensive end and try and get another step on defense. But, yeah, it's tough. They're a very athletic team, right? So it's just kind of, getting that game plan ready, following the principles and listening to the coaching staff, what the game plan is, and just being as prepared as we can. But at the end of the day, it's a competitive game, it's a competitive match, and we just wanted to rise to the occasion, and we did that.
Anything else in the room? Yep, we'll go front row here.
I guess just for both of you guys as well, you kind of mentioned the defensive effort a second ago, but how much do you, I guess, kind of credit the system that you guys play in as well in switching so much? And just, I guess, how do you deal with that when, a team knows it's coming and has several days like this to prepare for it in a tournament setting?
Yeah, I mean, it really just gets down to, like, it's Ivy League defense, it's Ivy League play. I don't think a lot of people, they just underestimate how good the Ivy League is at both ends. So we wanted to come in and kind of just shock them, and I think that we did that. And, I think just making them uncomfortable, too, down low. We doubled up on Edwards. She's a great player, very strong. And, just kind of, trusting each other 1 through 5 and knowing that we have our help.
We're going to take a couple questions from Zoom now. We're going to go to Jen Hatfield. Jen, go ahead.
Hey, Abby. Hey, Caitlin. For both of you, really, watching on TV, it felt like the game really slowed down toward the end with all the free throws and kind of took a while for you guys to finally close it out. Was it nerve-wracking for you guys too? What was going through your mind as you guys were at the line?
Honestly, it wasn't too nerve-wracking. I mean, coach has prepared us for situations like these all throughout practice and throughout the season. So I felt like we were pretty prepared and we were ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there were some fouls called on us, and, you just can't control that. You just got to, overcome it, play through it, and know that at the end of the day, everything's going to be okay, especially if we're, up a few in the fourth. Yep.
We're gonna go to Nancy Armour now on Zoom. Nancy.
Hi, Nancy Armour from USA Today. For Caitlin and Abby, you guys are the 5th double-digit seed to advance to the second round. That's 2 fewer than the record. Just curious your thoughts on how important that is to have these kind of upsets to grow the game and grow the tournament.
We like to say that this wasn't an upset in our minds. We were ready. We knew that we were going to be underestimated, just being a mid-major, Ivy League team. And, it feels great just to break the curse of not getting out of the first round, and we did that, and we're just going to, set our sights on Indiana, prepare as best we can, heal our bodies over the next day and, be ready to shock the world again.
Okay, if there's no other questions for the student athletes, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now open it up to questions for Coach. We'll start in the back. We've got a microphone there.
Steve Bittenbender, Associated Press. Kind of putting this into perspective with the team and with the opponent you face. Is this the biggest win in program history?
I think so. I've only been here a couple years, so I don't have a lot of my own history with this group. But I think on this stage, with the seed we had and beating a Kentucky team, the SEC champion, and I think it's definitely up there as one of the best wins, and just really, really, like I said, thrilled for this squad.
We'll go to the front row on the right.
Gabe Perrin, WHJE. Coach, this is just the second time Princeton has advanced to the round of 32 in school history. What is it about this team in particular that led them to that point?
They work really, really hard. They play for each other. They play together. It's such a joy to come to practice every day. They're really, resilient. I think we were really tested in our schedule, the non-conference schedule, playing Texas and the Florida Gulf Coast and a Delaware and a Villanova. So, they were battle tested. So I think they were ready for this moment and for this game. And they were locked in. And we talk about just defensively being locked in, and they certainly were.
We'll go front row here.
I asked the players the same question, but I guess after not having a season a year ago, what's it like sitting here now after all that time? You had to watch games that now you've gotten that big upset spotlight win, and being in, I guess, the initial feelings in the moments after that.
Yeah, I've said this before. It was certainly a challenging, time when, the season was cut short, and then, the Ivy League decided to not play, and, we were scattered all over the country, watching the NCAA tournament. It was strange and it was tough, but we stayed together. We stayed connected, and we came back just really grateful to be together again, and playing the game that we love. And I think Caitlin says it best. There's just so much joy that they have in playing basketball and playing for Princeton, and just playing together every single day, and that's player 1 through player 16. If you watch our bench, they are so into the game, and every day in practice we play against really great players. So we're competing every single day so that we're ready for games like this. But I'm truly just grateful that we had a season, and we're now advancing to the second round.
Go second row.
Coach Lee Howard, WKYT, congrats on the win. I believe you said early on that they rattled you a bit early. Was there something that changed? And also, how much did Howard and Edwards both going to the locker room for little stints of time with injuries maybe play in your favor?
I think, Walker just puts a lot of pressure on us, incredible defender. We just, we don't see that kind of pressure every day. And so I think it just took us just a couple of moments to just get our feet under us and take a couple deep breaths and just work together, and not, it couldn't be all on Caitlin to try to break that press and that kind of, just resiliency on their end defensively. And I wasn't really paying attention to when they went out or why they were out, just focused on who was out there and the matchups and what we needed to do, both offensively and defensively. But of course, without those two players, they're definitely a different team.
Any other questions in the room? Go front row there.
Carla, we talked a lot about defense, but just talk about Caitlin and Abby. They really carried the offense and gave you a 1-2 punch today.
Yeah. Yeah, Abby was right. There was a couple shots in that first half that I was like, oh, I don't know, that's our best shot, but it's hard to give her any kind of red light. Sometimes it goes yellow. But she certainly came up big shots, big plays, big free throws. Same thing with Caitlin, right? Her pull-up was awesome. Just a great playmaker for her teammates, and like I said, she just took so good care of that basketball with Kentucky hounding her for 40 minutes. Yeah, I mean they had an awesome game, but they had some really great teammates around them that played their roles really well.
We're going to take a few now from Zoom. Nancy, go ahead.
Hey, Carla, I just wanted to follow up. You mentioned it in your opening statement, and I asked Caitlin and Abby about, this is the 5th double-digit seed. You mentioned the mid-majors. How big is it for mid-majors and the higher seeds to be pulling upsets for the growth of the tournament and the growth of the games?
It's awesome. It's awesome. People talk about there isn't any, parity in women's basketball, and this is March Madness, and it's actually March Madness in women's basketball now. So it is awesome for mid-majors because it's great basketball. Yes, Power Fives, a conference like SEC, Big Ten. Yeah, there's some great teams there as well, but you're seeing it. Like there is awesome basketball at the mid-major level. So I'm loving it.
We're going to go to Jen next on Zoom.
Hey, Coach, congratulations.
Thanks, Jen.
Just curious, how much you felt like you had to make adjustments at halftime, like what was the message there to the team, and then after the game, kind of what the vibes were in the locker room or what the message was.
Great vibes after. Halftime, we always, no matter what the score is, I put on the board, it's 0-0. Like, yes, we had a little lead. They actually got some momentum at the end of that first half when Howard hit that three, and I wanted us to just refocus and play the way we're capable of playing. Just a couple adjustments with some screening action, but it was more like, let's take care of the basketball. This is just way too many turnovers, right? They had so many points off of our turnovers, and let's take care of it and get good shots and play the defense we're capable of playing. The vibe after the game was awesome. I had to change my shirt because I'm soaking wet. Really, just really excited. They were thrilled, and now we have to quickly turn the page to Indiana. So just looking forward to this next challenge.
We'll go to Chantel Jennings next on Zoom.
Hey, Carla, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Chantel Jennings with The Athletic. My question's kind of a follow-up to Nancy's, actually, specifically about the parity within the women's game. There's obviously still those elite teams in women's basketball, but it feels like, especially in the last few years, the gap between elite, great, very good, is getting smaller and smaller, and you mentioned the parity, but I'm curious, are there specific factors that you've seen over the last 2 decades that have sort of elevated that parity or brought that parity in the grassroots level or high school or college? Like, what are the contributing factors?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's, stems from the grassroots level, right? There are more girls playing basketball, and it's the game is just growing. And so more playing, better play, right? They're putting in the time, and there's more talented players. And now, they're dispersing all over the country, and we are very fortunate that we've got some really talented players at the mid-major and at Princeton University. And, my goal is to keep doing that, keep bringing in great players, great student athletes, great people, and just hope that we can keep building on this. But I think it has to do with, right, the grassroots level.
Any other questions for Coach in the room? We'll take one more. This will be our last one.
Carla, you had experience in this tournament as a player. How does today compare? The experience of today?
way more stressed out today than I ever was as a player. You know, I said this to our people that Kyra Elsie, she played at Tennessee when I was at UConn, and she actually was on that Cinderella team that ended my career. Just a little tidbit there, but you know, no, I don't remember that game at all. But it, yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's just awesome as a coach, and I'm so happy for my staff that puts in a lot of time to getting our players ready for the game. And yeah, it's hard to compare player. You know, it just kind of showed up, and I had Rebecca Lobo and Jen Rosati and a lot of really good players around me. So this is very different, but still pretty amazing feeling.
That's all the time we have now. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.